Go.
Hey, welcome to Feedback Friday.
Really take that.
I am Bill Allen from Bill Allen World, not to be confused with Bill Allen World that's spelled with an E. No, wouldn't that be like just a writ if somebody was like Bill Allen, Allen?
Fight him. You could win.
And I'm here in the control room with Dave, who's behind the camera, the mastermind behind the scenes, and of course you know Matt from D&D with high school students, and Max, and Carl, who's eating a sandwich because it's lunchtime at 10:45 in the morning because that's how our high school works. So today's Feedback Friday begins with some thank yous, boys. First thing we want to do is thank Dan Herrera from.
It was a letter yesterday.
Well, that's all still in the studio, but Dan from 3D Printed Tabletop sent us a wonderful package of terrain. And as much as I have a ton of terrain, I don't have this particular kind of terrain. And it's all sorts of like temple and church terrain, which is awesome, very useful. So thank you, Dan. And thank you for the personal note, that was awesome. You guys will actually see this tomorrow when episode 7 launches, Saturday at noon Central Standard Time. I have to say, you guys, I'm Carl.
It was a great episode.
I mean, it was
a good episode. It was very. I watched it this morning, or some of it.
It might
funny.
be the best episode we've done this season. So if you are tuning in, you should definitely check that out tomorrow or this weekend when you have time. But we actually opened up the gift from Dan on the episode, so you'll be able to see those pieces of terrain. The other thing we wanted to do was thank Neil from Paladin Role Playing.
We love Neil.
We've been using the Paladin dice pretty extensively so far, and they've been really sweet.
It's Heather's favorite dice.
It is like Heather. Yeah, they're those
nice.
legit heavy ones. So really nice dice, and of course, go check out 3D Printed Tabletop on YouTube. That's Dan's channel. He has a lot of cool stuff for you gamers who maybe aren't so crafty and don't want to make your own terrain, and you don't want to spend a ton of money. The nice in-between is 3D printing. A lot of public libraries have 3D printers, a lot of schools have 3D printers, and for a nominal fee, you could get these designs and then print them out, and then you've got all this cool terrain. And the detailing is amazing, isn't it?
Very great, yeah.
It really is. Also wanted to thank Ed Mullen, again, for sending us those minis.
Ed.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Ed.
And for all of this stuff, hopefully for the minis and the terrain, we're going to try in the next couple weeks before school's out to squeeze in some time to paint them. And we'll shoot video and put that up on the channel so you guys can see some behind the scenes. Because I think, the whole terrain and mini thing is something that, even though I've been playing games for years, I didn't really get into it until like the last couple of years, maybe 2015, 2016 is when I really started to get heavily into it. And it makes a really cool difference on the game table when you have all that cool swag to play with. So it just kind of enhances the experience, and sometimes it really helps visually to have that stuff laid out. All right, so it's time for feedback. Our first bit of feedback comes from AL. I don't know if that's Al, but it's like A space L.
Like a steak.
Al said, would it be possible for all of you to take turns borrowing Bill's Player's Handbook? You wouldn't have to read the whole book, just read the section on your race, your character class, and the combat chapter. You'd be surprised how much you can learn from just those 3 sections. Al, I completely agree. Right now, I am sort of barely equipped. I have 1 player's handbook.
Send us players' handbooks.
I think my dad has one at home.
We'll take
So-
them for free.
It's probably an older edition.
My
No,
dad
he got the new one.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
All right, so you need to read that then. So what I'm going to try to do, and here's another thing. We have received a lot of donations from the RevTrack donations, so thank you to all of you guys. And I say this all the time, but it really means a lot. Like, people, whatever you can give. Some people give $5, some people give 10 or 20. And what we're doing is kind of building that up so that we can get things like, Player's Handbook. Because one thing I don't believe in is piracy. I could very easily go online and get a PDF of the Player's Handbook and send it to everybody, and I think that's kind of dickish, and it really cheats not just Wizards of the Coast, but all the people who they employed and paid. The artists, the writers, all that stuff, the game designers. So I want to buy Player's Handbooks. They don't have to be new, so I've been going to Half Price Books and Goodwill and stuff, and just kind of keeping my eyes open for used Player's Handbooks. And as soon as we can find some. I'm gonna buy some so we have a few here, and the cast can read through them, because I think that's a very valuable thing, Al. I agree with that. And to some extent, yeah, to some extent, some of this stuff is going to be carried forward, because when season 2 ends, the cast moves on because they're all seniors. So next year we'll have a new cast for season 3 for D&D with high school students. Okay, all right. So Carl wants me to leak something.
Oh.
This is kind of a secret, so it's only for you people watching Feedback Friday. We have some spin-off stuff planning. Should we start with your spin-off?
Let's start with the college student.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So behind the scenes, I was talking with this season's cast, and the majority of them would like to keep playing somehow, but they're all going to be away at college. So we thought maybe we would do next fall. We would do a spin-off show called D&D with college students. So it would basically be the season 2 cast, and maybe some of the season 1 cast. I didn't really think about that.
Lee.
Yeah, Brian Lee, Cooper,
All the cast.
Rory.
Yeah.
You know Coop's not gonna Skype.
So we were thinking
Coop's gonna be
maybe,
at the bar.
yeah, maybe using Fantasy Grounds or Roll20 or one of those online platforms. Maybe we would do a Skype show and do D&D with college students. So that's in the hopper. It's one of the things that's a possibility for next fall when everybody's away at college, to kind of keep it going. It's on the back burner.
Okay.
It's there.
On the hopper.
It's there.
Hopper.
I haven't copyrighted the name D&D with
Yeah.
college students yet, but
You have to.
consider it copywritten. Copyrighted? I don't know.
Copyright.
All right, so that's one of the side projects. But that doesn't mean we won't have D&D with high school students. We will still have season 3 next fall when school starts back up again. We're gonna have a whole new cast. We're gonna have a lot of behind the scenes stuff, because we do have some people who really want to play. But we also have some open spots at the table, and I think we're gonna have kind of like maybe a casting call and see what
For
players we can
students
bring in.
in this area.
Yeah, for
Which
students
is
in this
not,
area. Yeah.
You know,
So
not like a general casting
Right.
call. Who wants to come play with high school
somebody
students.
moves from Utah.
Yeah,
to,
no.
You should
to
let
Brookfield.
them show.
Yeah.
You should let them show.
And they moved from Utah to LaGrange. They can
They
move
kind of
show.
deserve to be
We'll
on the
allow
show.
it.
And they can stay with Karafa.
Yeah. We could find them somewhere to live. Maybe they'll like the sump pump room.
No,
Um,
they don't know.
I don't have keys to that anymore. Hey Albert. So,
Hey, guys.
all right. So Carl, why don't you talk about your spin?
Oh, we have a second spin-off show coming up in the next coming weeks.
It's going to be called D&D with Carl.
It's not gonna be called. It's gonna be called Where's Bill? We want to delve a little bit into the character Milo's a story from her past, Heather, with an all new cast, because we have certain people that want to play. Potentially one of them would be on next year's season of D&D with high school students if they're well liked. So it'd be Heather and her character Milo, who's in the current season, along with a new cast, and then we play me as the DM, because I don't actually know how to DM and I don't know the rules very well. But we think it would just be a lot of fun for, just a really stupid, laid back, more relaxed, shorter session than like our 10 episode game. It'd be like one situation rather than an overarching story, and just, try out some new people on the show and have some fun with me as the DM. And it's gonna be really cool. We're gonna build characters next week and film it in the coming weeks. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
And you know what? I was telling Carl when he was explaining this to me, because he was a little concerned about not, as a DM, what do I do if I don't know the rules? And that's a great topic for discussion. I'm a firm believer that you don't need to know the rules. To be a good DM, you just have to have a sense of the world and the story. That's the most important thing. You have to be able to craft an environment and a world and be descriptive and create characters and create plot lines. And Carl can write pretty well, and I think that'll translate over to his ability to DM. And the players can help. The players that do know the rules can help with that. And I think it'll work out well. And we're gonna film it and we'll put it on, so we'll see how that goes.
Also, side note, along with Heather, a recurring returning cast member will be Max. He filled in for Maximilian 2 episodes ago. He's going to be his own character and do his own thing. He also does not know how to play at all.
Yep.
So very excited.
All right, another little piece of Feedback Friday. This one comes from Altorin, A-L-T-O-R-I-N, from Heather, you need to remember your guidance cantrip. It's amazing. Pick a person who you think is right in your team and bolster their
That
roles.
should be me.
Yeah, so that's going to be very important for episode 8. So, because, well, I don't want to give anything, I don't want spoilers from episode 7, but you'll figure out why that's going to be very important in episode 8. Hey Albert, how's it going? That's Albert, everybody. He's behind the scenes right now, but, so yeah, I agree with that, Alterin. In fact, I think before we film episode 8, we're going to do a little refresher with Heather about her spell options. And Carl, you should also have a refresher about your abilities as a bard, because you have not really used bardic inspiration, which is enormous and awesome. So yeah, sure, go ahead. Oh my God, how many people are not fit in here? What if
Paul and Aaron.
What if Paul and Aaron squeezed on the couch?
Paul!
All right. So, Alterin, I agree with that. We are going to we're going to have a little refresher with Heather about her abilities, her character's abilities, and Carl with his bardic abilities, because those are huge. All right, next feedback is from Zach Markham. Zach says, Heather is the only student who came back from season 1, question mark? What a shame. That is true in a sense, but I want to explain. It's not for lack of wanting to be on the show. Part of the casting for season 2 came from literally just who had class at the same time. So the students that are in the cast on season 2 all have my class, and they're all advanced students. So this is actually their class project. The show and some of the other things they're producing are part of the class project. So Anna, for example, has created the little graphics for each character, the little portraits that we use, and she's working on an animated opening sequence that probably will never happen.
It won't.
It just,
Might be ready by college.
yeah, it might be ready by college, so we'll see. But
Like when we graduate.
yeah, yeah,
Like when we do D&D with technically adults.
We're
Right.
medium people. We
Yeah.
progress.
and Sean built the dice tray and made a video for that. You know, so like each one of them has to do something in addition to just playing on the show. Kavanaugh, you need to make something like a behind the scenes video. Paul did one for, yeah, so
Actually, this one.
basically everybody's supposed to make something for the show, video content wise, on top of just playing in the show. But also being a part of the production, and I mean, all of them help set up, like with, you know, microphones and lights and sound and all that kind of stuff, so that's kind of helpful too. But Heather is the only cast member from season 1 to return in season 2. Now that doesn't mean that you won't see cameo appearances. And I've hinted at this before, but we're trying to, before school's done, we're trying to figure out a way to maybe bring Cooper, possibly Brian, in for some special guest appearances in season 2 before season 2 ends. So you might see them come back. And if you don't see them come back, maybe they'll be in our spin-off show, D&D with college students. Who knows?
I haven't seen Brian Lee, and I don't know how long.
I think I literally saw Brian Lee like walking down the hallway one time this entire semester.
Yeah, I haven't seen
I haven't
it.
seen Did he die or did he move?
No, he's still around.
No, he's dead.
All right.
Deceased or relocated?
Another question / comment was from Jax USMC, and Jax has been a longtime follower of the show. Come on in, Max. There's already 20 people in here.
I don't know if you're like.
Yeah, we'll edit on Monday.
I didn't know. It was,
So Jack says, Bill, I'm a struggling illustrator, having only published a few characters in a book titled The Sword of Demelza, and would love the chance to draw some of your needed artwork. If you should find someone to pay the ridiculous amount of money to, maybe you would allow me to try 1 or 2 to see if you like what I can do. Jack's deal, brother. In fact, that goes for anybody. You know, if you want to do fan art, we'd love to showcase it. Send it to me. But Jax, I'd love to see what you could do. Particularly, I'd love, you know, character art is always great. But I even like, you know, scene art. Like if you want to draw the white temple of Busate, the water goddess, with cascading, you know, little waterfalls and pools with koi fish and fountains and, you know, statues of the water goddess with her crystal eyes, like that would all be, that's all cool. And eventually people, yeah, this has come up too, everything that we're doing is all set in my original game world, and I do plan to publish that someday. I'm in discussions with some people about some things, and I can't really go into details. So, but yes, there will be original art. And if you want to draw original art and send it to me, I would be happy to give you a shout out. And if I decide that I really like your stuff, I might even commission you to be in the published versions of my game content.
That guy that drew us all sitting together.
Yes.
I DM'd him like a month ago and was like, "Can we put it on the show?" And he was like, "Sounds good." And then we never did that because I forgot.
Okay, but I need it. Everybody shows it to me on their phone.
Oh, he emailed it to me. Like I have a nice
yes.
full version.
Send me
I'm
that.
sorry if you're here.
Because there is a part where I tried to say in the last episode, can we put up that?
Oh, you did try to say that. And then
Yes.
I'll shut you down.
Well, it just
He drew that sketch and it was awesome.
It was
It was
really
like a
good.
sketch of the party and it was really good, and I'd love to show that. So maybe we'll squeeze that into like episode 8 or 9.
Okay.
So-
I'll send that to you.
How many more episodes are left this season? That's a great question, audience. It depends on school and AP exams and finals, and then who's around in June. So school ends the week after Memorial Day, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the last.
It ends the 28th.
Right. So like there's finals, and then so we're gonna try to shoot at least 3 more episodes before school's done in the month of May. And we're also going to try, if we can get the cast together, to play a little bit in June, and maybe get a few more episodes in. So we might have like a full roster of, I would say if we hit 13 episodes for season 2, that would be pretty sweet.
That'd be sweet.
I think we could maybe do that.
How
And
many
then a
seasons
couple
now?
side things with painting minis and terrain, you know,
Spin-off show.
spin-off show,
Yeah.
yeah. So there's probably a good, I would say,
Content.
5 or 6 more videos related to this cast. Easily.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's fair. Now, next week is gonna be a little rough, because Max and I are going, on Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to New York.
Where's Bill?
Because Max won a national scholarship. Max is being recognized by the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences for his work in sports production, which is pretty baller. So they're flying us to New York. Fist bump. So we get to go to New York. We get to meet with people from all the major networks that fund the prestigious Jim McKay Scholarship, which Max won. So ESPN Sports, HBO Sports, CBS, NBC. I mean, this guy had a prolific career, and Max is the recipient of this national award. He gets to meet with the committee, the awards committee, and all these broadcasters, and it's going to be awesome. And then obviously we get to spend a little time touring New York. We might hit the NBC studio. We might we may be meeting up with some ESPN folks, maybe get a tour. You know, so we're not 100% sure of the itinerary, but Tuesday and Wednesday.
MLB Network too. That's in Secaucus, New Jersey.
Yeah, so we might hit up a bunch of things related to that. So next week will be Carl will be filming his episode of Where's Bill, where he DMs, and we'll see how that goes. So yeah, so after episode 8, we might have Carl's episode as a little side one-shot quest journey thing on the channel, and then we'll resume episodes 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Bang, bang, bang throughout the rest of Memorial Day. And then there's Memorial Day itself. We're going to be in the studio playing nonstop live for 8 hours. Look at Carl's like, what?
Hell no.
I'm just kidding.
Sorry.
All of you guys, is that prom weekend?
No, it's the weekend after.
Okay, all right.
That's
so
the pet parade.
We are playing D&D at
The
prom.
pep
Bill's coming
parade.
to
Yeah.
prom.
What if we
Yeah,
what if we play D&D at prom? No, that's so
Post prom is us going to play D&D.
yeah. Post prom is D&D at a lake house. D&D at Carl's lake house. Carl.
Yes.
We totally.
My dad would let that happen though.
My dad would let that
He would
happen.
let that
All right, and then the other spin-off that Carl and Neely and I were discussing this morning, D&D with dads. How many people would watch that? Just like me,
Oh, I could get my dad.
me DMing for all the dads. That would be
Like,
that'd be pretty funny.
This is so exciting.
We need Miss
My
Faye as a
goodness.
guest.
No, I don't think she rolls.
But
All right, Dave. Is there any questions? How about you? Is anybody watching? What if nobody's watching?
21 people are
21
watching.
people. Thank you for tuning in to Feedback Friday
I've
Live.
just been like nobody the entire
Any
Um,
comments?
Yeah, there's.
Are you going to live stream in New York?
I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, maybe.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll just go live for the hell of it.
Yeah.
Do a little vlog or something.
Yeah, maybe we'll do live and give everybody an update. That would actually be pretty dope if we were live from the awards.
We're not gonna be those people going live
On the red carpet.
No.
March 27th.
Max is like, we're not gonna be those people, and I'm totally like, we're gonna be those people.
Yeah.
The show will have gone live in Vegas and New York.
Maybe we can go live like Wednesday morning or something.
Yeah, maybe
Or
we side
maybe
quest.
we do it at, or I guess we're
Live from Times Square. Oh my God.
Oh my
Max.
God.
Live from Times Square.
If your phone will work.
Yeah, if my phone works. My phone.
My
sucks.
phone works.
Yeah. Do you have an iPhone?
Yeah.
See, that's why. Rip. Sorry, Samsung. I don't know why my phone never live streams right. All right. What other questions do we have? Who's got questions? Hit me up.
Live from New York, it's D&D with
Oh, I know. Somebody mentioned one time. Somebody came up with an idea. They're like, "What if you had like a back video that we're like getting to know everybody behind the scenes?" Which I thought was really cool. So like, we could do like little side interviews with Albert and Michael Garbars and Carafa.
They said go to the top of the Empire State Building and play D&D.
Yeah.
No, he's scared of heights. He won't go up there.
I'll go up there. I just won't go up to the windows.
Really?
I'm going up to the windows.
Dude, you know the Sears Tower, like the
Yes.
my feet were sweating. I was like, I hate like feeling like I could fall out of a high. Like I don't have a problem with planes, but just something about standing on top of a building is scary to me.
Hey, Bill, what's your email?
Don't rush.
vbillallen@gmail.
Bill.
Okay, what else?
Take 20 D&D says hi.
Oh, hey. It's our boy Cody. Hey, Cody.
He says may the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with us indeed. Oh, is it? It is.
Yeah, I was
So it
expecting
counts.
you to read.
Hey, Star Wars, may the 4th be with you.
Hey,
How's Star Wars?
Hello.
The sentient Star Wars.
I don't have any Star Wars swag with me right now. I am a large fan of Star Wars. I'm very much looking forward to the Han Solo movie.
I am too.
Like that's my whole life. He
It looks
basically
very
was my
cool.
hero as a small child. Like everybody else, like Luke Skywalker. I was like, no.
Because you're such a renegade.
Smuggler.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you something. This is a copyrighted idea. I wrote a story with my friend Jim Dvorak back in 1993, and it's the backstory to Han Solo, but not Han's. It's his father.
He's a king, ain't he? Yeah.
Hans.
Well, an extended
In
universe.
my story,
Hans.
John Solo, and he's friends with Lando Calrissian,
Okay.
and Lando's dad is Lamar. John Solo and Lamar Calrissian.
Is that the only black name you can
And
think
there's,
of?
well, yeah, in like 92, that was, so like John Solo and Mark Calrissian, and they're basically just like smugglers, but not like drugs. Like, so they're just high all the time, and they're just flying around in a spaceship baked the whole time.
That sounds like another movie.
It's like Dazed and Confused, yeah,
Yeah.
but it's like Dazed and Confused with Star Wars. Like, just, and they get into all sorts of like crazy
That could be
adventures.
a real funny stoner movie.
Totally.
That'd be fun.
I wrote that in 92.
Shout out to Carl the Hottie Hottie.
Oh.
Carl.
Oh.
That happens to be his girlfriend.
Wait,
Hi.
you said that was that Olivia?
Hello.
No, Zach. Someone named Zach.
Oh.
Zach Marta. Not
Is it one of your Brazilian?
It's probably one of my Brazilian fans.
Carl, where are the country Brazil comments?
Oh, and Olivia just said Carl's a hottie.
Olivia! Hi,
Hi,
Olivia.
Olivia.
We love Olivia.
Yeah, we are a fan of her. Thank you for watching.
Carl, come to Brazil.
So, any other feedback from Feedback Friday? Like I said, if you missed the beginning, episode 7 is dropping tomorrow at noon Central Standard Time, and you all need to tune in and blow it up, because I feel like it was maybe the most exciting episode we've had.
I think it was just the most fun.
It was so much fun.
Like, I enjoyed it.
The plot thickens, let's just put it that way.
Oh.
Episode 7 gets real, and episode 8 is going to be crazy too.
Yeah, it is.
So like Shakira thing.
It's Shakira thing. I don't even.
With 2 C's.
Yeah.
Like 2 C's, a couple K's, and some P's.
So, what else?
You should put up either a Twitter page or something else where you could see all the fan art.
Ooh, make a
I like
website, BillOnTheWorld.com.
Make an Insta.
Oh,
And
that's
then link it to your website.
Yeah, I mean, I'll repost everything, man, for sure. Because no, I don't do young people things like Tinder. I barely
Also,
Twitter.
you're married,
Oh,
so
yeah,
that would
I'm
make
married,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
Think of my wife.
You're on Grindr,
Think of her.
though, right?
I don't even know what Grindr is.
I think you should be on it. I mean, it seems like a good app.
I'm old.
I know James knows what Grindr is.
Here, do you know Tim Grider?
Yeah. Oh. Oh yeah. No, I'm not.
Not with that.
Okay, so I think we covered all the main things that people sent questions for. Thanks as always again to everybody who donated to the show through RevTrack. That money goes to the club account, and hopefully we'll be able to find some used players' handbooks. And you know, if not, I will buy some from our local friends at Fair Game, because they're our buddies. Fair Game in Downers Grove. They are a fantastic, friendly local game store with emphasis on friendly. They have like open gaming nights where you could try out any game. You pay like a nominal table fee, and you could.
And they're gonna have an event this Saturday, I think,
Yep,
right?
They have events all the time, so
We
check
should
out
have
Fair
an
Game.
event there. We should play a show there.
We've been talking about, you know, Carl, that's a good segue. We've been talking about doing live shows on remote, and that may happen this summer. Like in June, we might do some live game shows at Fair Game,
At the pool.
at Chimera's Comics in
Oh,
LaGrange,
Chimera's.
some of our friends locally
We know.
from the pool.
Yes.
Live,
Just hang
live
out.
from Paul's, live from the park across the street from Paul's.
That's awesome.
There's no power there, so we can plug in the truck. But maybe live from
Oh, really
Palmer's. We
long?
talked about doing a live from Palmer's.
Yeah, we've done my show there before.
Yeah. So, yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff cooking up for the summer. We should probably grill and do.
Oh my god,
live.
I would love to have a cookout.
Just merge on
Can I be
the
like
on the
a
grill and bill.
Wait, can we
Yeah,
do
yeah,
on the
Carl,
go spell,
yeah,
thumbs up, thumbs down, and do
It was bad
Yes.
backyard first.
My neck.
From Carapa's barbecue.
From Carl's girlfriend's
No.
neck.
No.
Live from Carl's girlfriend's backyard. A grill.
It's D&D with high school students and burgers.
But all you would hear on the mic is just like.
That'd be like the whole club budget would just be us spending money on like food.
That's how we blow
That's
it.
what it is.
That's how we blow the club budget at the end of the year.
Yeah.
It's
All right.
that big. It's.
We are running out of time because it's Feedback Friday time to wrap up.
And
Any
you have to
final
do your
questions?
show.
No?
I'm also.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in once again to Feedback Friday. Thank you to all of you who are subscribers on the channel, who are following D&D with high school students. Please continue to support us. Spread the word. We love to hear from you. And thanks as always. Peace out.